No, I agree. I mean, it's a very well said, Chris. So when, so there are two things which Alex and Shankar has said. The first is like with Shankar's statement that Daniel has rightly mentioned. Another thing is that both have said in different interviews that there is no reason why this business cannot be 20 times larger than this. Okay. Now the challenge for me is, I mean, I of course believe that the business can go 20, 30 times larger than this. That's why I'm such a big proponent of it. But there are a lot of fill in the blanks as of today. And those fill in the blanks needs to be answered to understand the execution and milestone criteria over which we should judge the Palantir. If you are saying on a mainstream finance media channel that company can go 20 times more from here, the question is how and when. That's a fair question to ask. So we want to see some sort of roadmap, some sort of commitment, because when we see like this 30% growth, yeah, it's a sandbagging. Okay, if you are using that kind of, see, I have to judge you from sitting almost half globe away and decide whether I should invest with you or not. Okay, so in my view, that's the kind of detailing has to be codified. See, we know what Palantir is not doing today. Palantir doesn't have a mass market product. Palantir doesn't have a marketplace. Palantir has invested in specs that are yet to go mainstream. Palantir's Foundry for Builder is helping startups, but these are startups. They have not emerged as a big company as of today. Okay, Palantir is still not having a focus product for the media market. I mean, there is a certification program, but that is only limited to the selected employees from the company which are already the client. Okay, Palantir brand awareness in industrial sector is still struggling. Many people still don't know what Palantir is, and it's a consulting company or it's a SaaS company. There are many products that Palantir can play, for example, Palantir Cloud, but we do not have any idea like why and when it should happen. Alex Karp has discussed in generally that okay, we want to make a product thin enough that can be monetized, but what that product will look like, what's the timeline, what the team is doing, who's responsible for this, there is no clarity on that part. Will they be ever able to make it? They want to do it. That doesn't mean that they will be able to do it, and will that be accepted by market in the same way as they want it to be. In addition to that, we see that Palantir also suffers from all the negative stigma that comes from being associated with Peter Thiel and the negative from ICE and everything. Okay, that is going to stay in general. I'm surprised that people in the US sometimes ask like, "What? How Palantir even helping government?" So this is a lot of misinformation that comes from it. Then we have people like George Soros and other people who are like completely funding movements against Palantir, and there are a lot of investors who go online, for example, Ross Gerber, and spew all kind of lies. The action has to be taken, and the company needs to be defended from this point of view. All these actually adds to the low valuation of Palantir, in my opinion. Okay, valuation in a sense is perception. Everybody knows it. Okay, but when you apply a multiple, you apply a DCF. It is a set of the assumptions you make. So there is a sense of perception here. You cannot improve valuation if you cannot address the sense of perception. Okay, and that you can only do by staying consistent, delivering growth, delivering better products, and yeah, I mean countering things which are against you. This is how I think about it. Does it make sense to you, Chris?
It seems like you have a lot of, and I agree with every point that you made. There's a lot of headwinds that Palantir is going to have to fight through to get to the point where they are going to be $1 trillion company like some people are expecting. So, my only advice to many of you guys on this call, or whoever is listening, or eventually when this is posted, is that know that there are a lot of inherent risks that come with investing in Palantir. This is not one of those companies that's just going to magically succeed. Yeah, they have great talent, they have a great vision right now, but even then, there's still a lot of headwinds. And that's one of the reasons why I think Alex Karp has been very adamant on saying we are focused on a long term, because I think they have the power to address every single one of those issues that you outlined, but it's going to take time, right? And that's something that we have to keep in mind. And the other thing is also like from an institutional standpoint, there's a lot of um, other especially right now, there's other value propositions out there because of this macro level downtrend, right? So there's other companies right now that are growing at 30, 40, 50, almost 100%, some of them, that don't have these headwinds, that don't have to worry about a lot of this stuff. So the question is, do I want to invest in Palantir, who has headwinds, or do I want to invest in this other company that's growing just as fast, if not more, right? But may have less market potential, right? To see those early on gains. So right now, I think that's the thing. So for my bull thesis, I think Palantir has a TAM that's amazing. That's like that's so large that you cannot believe it. And whatever they're saying, oh, our total addressable market's 200 billion. No, they have a much larger TAM than most people are expecting. The opposite of it is that there's a lot of people saying, "Oh my God, Snowflake has this great product. It's growing really fast," but they have a really small TAM. Trust me, they're within the next 2 3 years, you're going to see a huge decline in growth from companies like Snowflake. And as Databricks comes out, it's going to start eating some of Snowflake's lunch, and that's essentially the thing that I think we all have to take into consideration. You want to invest in the company who has a tremendous amount of potential but is growing a little bit slower. That's actually a more lasting growth versus someone who's growing exponentially right now, but technically that total addressable market is actually way more limited than you would think. And believe it or not, that's actually a topic that's covered on 0 to 1, where the companies that have a huge TAM, they'll never say I have a huge TAM, and the ones that have what do you call it, a small TAM, they says, oh, we can do all sorts of things. Our TAM is unlimited. So this is where I think the market's getting things a little mixed up. In that Palantir is right now not really talking about it, but I think it's got potential to get to $1 trillion. That Snowflake will never get to $1 trillion.